Hello, Robs. This is New Book Arrivals number 212. These were from a thrift store that I usually don't get very much from. But since the paperbacks are a quarter, it was well worth picking up most of them. 3 V.C. Andrews books, all with the little window in them, which is seemingly a thing where people like to collect them. There was about 10 or 12 of these, but these were the only ones that were in acceptable condition. Not great condition, but acceptable. Eventually I'll collect the entire set of whatever Thrilling Wildflowers series. More dusty books to go with the other ones I just did. The Scarlet Pimpernel by Baroness Orczy, complete and unabridged. Obviously, it's pre-ISBN, so probably, 1964 or 5 or something. Doesn't look 63. Don't really know what this book's about, but this was a great copy, so I grabbed it. There are some novels whose plots unfold with such compelling energy, with such irresistibly mounting suspense, that they have, through the years, been characterized by a phrase which, if it has become trite, is nevertheless a testimonial to a work of rare imaginative power. I just couldn't put it down until I'd finished it. Baroness Amuska Orczy's The Scarlet Pimpernel is this kind of book. Like I can't read anymore. Like Robert Louis Stevenson, the Baroness Orczy had the priceless gift of generalizing a private life into the universal terms of humanity. Another copy of Lady Chatterley's Lover. And I only got it because it's vintage, good shape. Although it is split, it's got to be worth something. It's got to be worth more than 25 cents. A Woman of Independent Means, a novel by Elizabeth Forsyth Haley. I was going to look this up before I bought it, but too lazy. So I got it. Seems somewhat vintage. I don't know if it's Gothic romance. It looks like a bunch of letters. But I don't know if that's just feigned letters or what they are. I didn't even look at it, honestly. I assume it's a novel, so I don't know what it's about. Novel like Elizabeth Forsyth Haley's A Woman's of Independence. Norman Mailer, Barbary Shore. I've never heard of this book. Obviously, I know who Mailer is. The Naked and the Dead. I have not read anything by Mailer, I don't think. But at the age of 25, The Naked and the Dead. He lived in Brooklyn as a boy, graduated Harvard. Barbary Shore offers a unique reading experience of World War II. What year is this? 51, that ain't right. What year is it? 14th printing. I'm going to say 70s. Truth is somewhere in there. This is not a 51. I mean, it's possible it's 1951, but I don't think so. I'll say 60s or 70s. You don't see many mass market paperbacks of Daphne du Maurier, and especially not newer ones, but this is what, 90s? 1938, 1971, that's not accurate either. I'm going to say this is either 90s or 2000s, but I could be wrong. I don't think so. Looks modern. Yeah. Edgar Allan Poe, The Fall of the House of Usher, and Other Tales. Just cheap little mass market paperback by, what's it, Signet? Yeah. 14 Tales of Terror, Imagination, and Suspense. I'm sure I have them all in different books, but different edition than any I've seen or come across, which I buy most of them. The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Introduction by Austin Warren. It's a Reinhardt edition, so I assume it has explication in it. Might not, but I'm pretty sure it does. Yes, it has some notes. Introduction. I just like the cover. I don't know what the hell that is. It's like the Virgin Mary, but she's blowing up in the nuclear cloud over the earth. C.S. Lewis, The Four Lovers. I may or may not have this. When I libibbed it, it showed up. Didn't show up, so I apparently don't have this copy, or at least this edition if I do have it. Too much beloved exploration of the nature of love. If wit and wisdom, style and scholarship are requisites to passage through the pearly gates, Mr. Lewis will be among the angels. Nietzsche, Human, All Too Human, translated by Martin Faber, Stephen Lehman, A Book of Free Spirits. Would be interesting to compare this with Kaufman or Hollingsdale. I think his name was Hollingsdale. Or is it Hollingshead? Hollings, whatever, who was Kaufman's understudy. Oh, man. Compare them because all the different editions of Nietzsche that I've looked through, I would say I've never read an entire Nietzsche book, but I usually read the aphorisms. I don't usually like his longer passages. Or the book Zarathustra, which was absolutely boring. I don't care who translated it. It was awful. And the poetry's rotten in there. But yeah, be interesting to compare these and contrast. It'd be nice if this chair would shut up, but it won't. 2 copies of this. A Great Moral and Social Force, A History of Black Banks by Tim Todd. And I did read, I listened to one of MLK's speeches recently. I can't remember why, but they mentioned the Tri-State Bank. A black bank, obviously. But there were 2 copies, so I grabbed them both. I don't know if they're worth anything, but for 50 cents total, it's got to be worth something. A Time of Dread by John Gwynne. The book reminded me in the very best way of the sort of fantasy I loved in years gone by. Well, I hate fantasy, but this was at the sale, and I only had a $5 bill. And I needed another book, and there wasn't enough stuff to get. So I grabbed this. This made it $5. And so it's worth the amount I paid, which was $1, as it's worth about $9 or $10, but I have no desire to read it. Perhaps I'll find other books in this series and then sell them, make some cash on my investments. All right, that's all, bro. Goodbye.